Number 8. The Alien Caves of Death Valley. In 1947, Howard E. Hill of Los Angeles told an unusual story. He said that in 1931, Dr. F. Bruce Russell discovered a complex of caves and tunnels underneath Death Valley, California. Russell was a retired physician from Ohio. He stumbled upon the caves by accident while searching for mining opportunities in the desert. While he was looking for a good spot to mine, he fell into a cave filled with catacombs. Russell explored the caves and found the mummified remains of 3 giants human mummies that were 9 feet tall. They were stored in granite coffins, which were chiseled with what looked to Russell like Egyptian hieroglyphics. He thought he'd found the burial place of giants that once roamed North America. There were a bunch of other things that Hill claimed Russell discovered in the caverns beneath Death Valley. There were supposedly the remains of dinosaurs and bones from mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, plus countless artifacts from a lost civilization. Hill estimated the tunnels to cover about 180 square miles across Death Valley. The story has been dismissed as an old wives' tale again and again. There is no evidence that Dr. Russell ever existed, though then again, why would there be? According to the tale, he disappeared before he could show the world the mysterious relics underneath Death Valley. His car was found abandoned with a burst radiator in an isolated part of the valley. His suitcase was in the car, but the doctor was nowhere to be seen. There is a rumor that Dr. Russell was killed to hide the secret of whatever is hidden in the caves below the valley. In the 1920s, something similar happened. A prospector by the name of White told everyone who would listen about how he fell through the floor of an abandoned mine. This was near Wingate Pass in Death Valley. He entered an underground cavern, then found a labyrinth of chambers with strange-looking mummies. There was also treasure that looked like it came from another world. White supposedly reached a part of the maze that was glowing with a greenish-yellow light, only he was too afraid to go deeper. When White tried to show archaeologists the cavern, the entrance had mysteriously disappeared. Number 7. The Portal. Archaeologists discovered evidence of an ancient portal to the underworld in an Israeli cave. The mysterious site contains artifacts, coins, skulls, and other relics dating to between 4000 BC and 380 AD. The site is called Te'omim Cave, located in the hills of Jerusalem. For almost 5,000 years, people would come to visit the cave believing its subterranean spring had healing properties. The caverns were used by Jewish refugees during the 2nd century AD when the Romans attacked the Holy City. Since 2009, researchers with the Hebrew University of Jerusalem have been working on excavations inside the cave. They found 3 human skulls, 120 oil lamps, Bronze Age artifacts, and pieces of pottery. Researchers say the artifacts found point to the cave being used as a portal to the underworld. The oil lamps, axe heads, and daggers were likely part of magic rituals in which sorcerers tried to summon the souls of the dead. Starting around the beginning of the 1st century, Roman pagans likely settled in the area. They introduced what would now be considered demonic rituals. People delved into the caves and left lanterns burning in dark corners. This was part of an effort to coax the dead from the underworld back to the land of the living. However, the function of the cave is only speculation. Scientists can guess, but they don't really know what was happening here 2,000 years ago and beyond. And now for number 6. But first, it's shoutout time! I want to give a big thank you to Joey Dirt and Angry Gun for supporting this channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like these, and to join the Origins Explained family. Number 6. Strange Ice Age Figurine. Scientists were left baffled after discovering a mysterious figurine in a cave near Schelklingen, Germany. The cave is a World Heritage Site that was occupied by early humans during the Ice Age. The strange ivory figurine discovered within is unusual because it doesn't look like any animal known to science. Researchers can't figure out what animal it's meant to depict. They don't know if it was a creature that hasn't been found before, a mythical beast, or a weirdly shaped bear. The ivory figurine was recovered from Pentell Cave in 1999. It was initially thought to be part of a horse figure, but according to Professor Nicholas Conard from the University of Tübingen, that's not accurate. Nicholas said his team has been unable to identify the animal species depicted by the figurine. He admitted it could be a cave lion or a cave bear, but nobody really knows. Some people at the university think the figure is anatomically similar to a cave lion, but there's just not enough evidence to say with 100% certainty. The animal figurine was carved by Ice Age hunters about 40,000 years ago. These were very real cavemen. They dwelled in the dark recesses of the cave, carving animals in their spare time by firelight. Number 5. Pentell Cave. Mount Pentelicus in Greece has been a place of great importance going on thousands of years. Marble was quarried here to build the mighty Parthenon, along with other famous Athenian buildings. But the mountain is home to more than just marble. There is a deep cavern called Pentell Cave hidden within the mountain's pine forests. It's only around 200 feet long and 66 feet high, but at the back of the cavern is a network of tunnels. One of them leads to an ancient underground pool the Greeks used to think was a portal to hell. The cave has been a source for myths and legends ever since locals can remember. In ancient times, it was associated with the god Pan. Archaeologists have even found artifacts depicting Pan hidden in the niches of the cave. This may have been a site for ritual activities celebrating the mischievous nature god. After Christianity came to Greece around the 1st century AD, Pentell Cave became a hideout for religious hermits and reclusive monks. There is still a ruined church at the entrance to the cave, said to have been built in the 11th century. It's currently a ruin, and nobody knows who really built it. Some think it was an early Gnostic church, but there's no way of knowing. Most recently, the cave has been a place of increased paranormal activity. People have heard voices emanating from the cave. UFOs were spotted frequently through the 1960s and 1970s. Hikers visiting the cave have reported hearing music wafting out of the cavern's entrance, as if being played by Pan himself or one of his nymphs. The weirdest recent incident with Pentell Cave occurred in 1977. An unknown organization showed up and blocked off the area with barbed wire. Then they started blasting within the cave using dynamite. Bulldozers were brought to the mountain's peak where they worked on whatever was happening in the cave. Nobody knows what the group's purpose was. Rumors spread that they were working with NATO and the US government to create a nuclear facility. Other rumors said they had discovered an interdimensional portal and were trying to activate it. After a while, the organization just left. In 1983, they abandoned the site and much of their equipment. The church out front had been seriously damaged. There were weird concrete corridors inside the cave. Whatever the workers had been doing, they seem to have completed their work. They went back in the 1990s, but the Greek Ministry of Culture made a fuss and they left. The whole episode is an unexplained mystery. These days, Pentell Cave is quiet and more than a little creepy. Number 4. Secret Templar Sanctuary. In Shropshire, England, there is a very spooky cave. It doesn't even really look like a cave from the outside. Underneath a tree in the unsuspecting countryside is an entrance that looks like an oversized rabbit hole. If you found it yourself, you likely wouldn't enter because 1. You're not Alice in Wonderland, and 2. The hole looks like somewhere a nest of snakes might live. That is in fact the entrance to the Galam Caves, supposedly created by the Knights Templar over 800 years ago. The Knights Templar started around 1118 AD. French knight Hugh de Payenne began the order of chivalrous knights to protect pilgrims on the road to Jerusalem. They were one of the fiercest fighting forces of the Middle Ages up until they were destroyed in the early 13th century by the King of France. Local legend says the Knights Templar dug Galam Caves after they were labeled heretics by the Pope as a secret place to worship God. It's not the only rumor about how the caves were created. Urban artist Dominic Wass said one of the most popular theories is that the caves were carved by a cruel landowner. The landowner was illegally keeping 60 slaves on his property. There's another rumor that says the caverns were made by an eccentric family in the 1850s for fun. When you go down the rabbit hole, you arrive in what looks like a mystical tomb. There are carved arches, sandstone walkways, and niches etched in the walls. Some parts are cramped so that you have to crawl on your hands and knees. Other parts are vast, with cavernous roofs and mystic sigils on the walls. Galam Caves looks like the kind of place a group of secret devil worshippers would hold satanic ceremonies. It really depends on which way you look at it, because the underground chambers also look like the kind of place where displaced Templars might meet in secret after they were disbanded. Local cults have used the caves in more recent years for ceremonies. Some say the ancient Druids worshipped pagan gods in the caves thousands of years ago. The truth is still unknown. Nobody knows how old the caves are or who made them. Number 3. Galam. In 1865, Italian paleontologist Arturo Isel was looking for proof of prehistoric humans in Malta. Inside the Galam Cave, he dug a 60-foot trench. In his trench were pottery remains and a gigantic hippopotamus bone. It was a bit of a disappointment for the scientists. In the years that followed, more scientists descended into Galam. While most of them were hoping to find human bones, they kept finding prehistoric animal bones. The excavations led to thousands of ancient animal remains being collected, mostly bones from hippos, elephants, wolves, and deer. Then, after lots and lots of searching, archaeologists discovered unusual human teeth. The teeth were found fused together to form a single massive root. The teeth were so different from modern human teeth that archaeologists believed they found a new species. A dentist in 1969 debunked the theory of a new species when he extracted a similar tooth from a local. It turned out to be more of a mutation than anything. In 1940, one day after Italy declared war on Britain, the Allies bombed Malta. The Galam Cave was turned into an air raid shelter. Refugees hunkered in the cave, and it was filled with refuse and urine pots. The biggest mystery came with the shocking discovery of engraved crosses at the entrance of the prehistoric cave. Experts wondered if maybe the crosses were made by refugees during World War II, but when looking at archive photos of the cave, researchers saw that the crosses were there already in the 1930s. The crosses are very unusual because the cave is prehistoric, not modern. It doesn't have any religious history. Nobody knows how old the crosses are or who put them there. This cave is just full of secrets. Number 2. The Cave of the Monkeys. According to a pair of new bone fragments discovered deep inside an ancient cave in Laos, humans arrived in Southeast Asia 86,000 years ago. Researchers working in the Cave of the Monkeys, situated about 4,000 feet above sea level on a mountain near the border of China, found a piece of a human shin bone and a fragment of skull. The bones were washed into the mountain cave during a monsoon a very long time ago. Comparing the bone fragments to modern human bones, scientists were able to make a match. They weren't Neanderthal bones or from any other species. The bones are 100% human. This is important because scientists have been debating the arrival of Homo sapiens in Asia for decades. These two tiny fragments prove humans moved into Asia for the first time at least 86,000 years ago. Fabrice Demeter, a specialist in paleontology and anthropology from the University of Copenhagen, was involved in the study. Demeter said that almost no anthropological research was done in Laos until after the Second World War. That means that almost nothing has been done in the field of archaeology in this entire landlocked country. The prehistoric history of Laos remains a big mystery. The dating of the bones came as a big surprise because most scientists agree that Homo sapiens didn't disperse rapidly from Africa until 60,000 years ago. All evidence points to the first human immigrants leaving Africa in large numbers 60,000 years before today. The question now is, how did this group reach Laos 26,000 years earlier? Scientists think it was a group of failed humans. Michael Rivera from the University of Hong Kong said the group may have dispersed into Southeast Asia and died. They were like a failed colony who went extinct in the jungle. Number 1. Stone Age Camels. An image of a camel painted inside a dark and spooky cave in Russia could be revealing secrets of early human migration. Archaeologists discovered the bizarre cave painting hidden inside the Kapova mountain. The Paleolithic drawing shows a camel with 2 humps. Researchers say 40,000 years ago, when the drawing was made, no such camel lived in this mountainous part of Russia. Additionally, the cave paintings are extremely similar to ones found in France and Spain. Researchers think it could have been the same culture making cave paintings in Russia and all the way in Western Europe. They may have been a culture of travelers moving across the landscape on double-humped camels. They would have started their journey around 50,000 years ago. The Kapova Cave itself is an underground sanctuary. Located on the border of Kazakhstan, the cave is filled with beautiful examples of Paleolithic art. Images of the woolly mammoth adorn the walls, and woolly rhinos too. Most paintings were made about 17,000 years ago, though many are far older. There are even some weird anthropomorphic monsters that look like hybrid human-animal gods. The best guess scientists have is that the culture of wandering camel riders used the cave as a religious sanctum. They likely didn't live in the cave, but went inside to worship their anthropomorphic gods. Thanks for watching! Be sure to subscribe and come back soon for more videos. See you later. Bye!